Hi, I'm Mike Scroggins, your Delaware County Sheriff, and this is the Sheriff Show. Welcome. This show is going to focus on the Sheriff's Office, two of the special teams the Sheriff's Office has, the Bomb Squad and the Dive Team. And these are two of the special teams, two of many that the Sheriff's Office provides the citizens of Delaware County, and the training involves both of these teams, not only because members of the Sheriff's Office are on both of these teams, but both of these teams have to be able to work together in handling an emergency situation. Tom Leard of Underwater Services is the master diver that certifies all the divers and helped oversee this training scenario that you'll be seeing on the show. So I'd like to thank Tom for taking his time and assisting us with this training. What the scenario is that you'll be watching is that a plane has crashed and has material on the plane that is believed to be radioactive or possibly a biological threat to the area where it crashed. And the area where it crashed is underwater. It's quite a detailed problem that the men needed to work not only as being a plane crash, a bomb squad issue, but also a dive issue as far as locating the wreckage. And once that the bomb squad had rendered the situation safe, the dive team has to figure out a way to retrieve the wreckage and continue the investigation. So sit back and enjoy this version of the Sheriff Show, and I'll see you soon.
I'll give you the operations order. If you got any questions or anything like that, hold your questions until you finish up the brief. Here's our situation for today's training. On the 21st, yesterday, the Indiana Air Guard was scrambled to intercept an aircraft which is over Fort Wayne airspace in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Air controllers had lost contact with the pilots, and when the aircraft was scrambled from the Air Guard, they were flying up next to the aircraft and noticed that the pilot was unconscious. They tried to radio the pilot, but he did not respond. Aircraft appeared to slowly descend in a circular pattern, with the pilots following closely. This air crash landed into Brookville Lake, which is right outside here. Initial investigations show that the pilot was from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Friends and family members advised that the subject was over the last year has had multiple major life changes. He's gone through a very radical divorce. He's suffering from serious medical problems. His business, he lost his business and went into bankruptcy, and he lost all of that. His house went into foreclosure. Subject, he has been becoming very agitated within the last year, especially the last 6 months, with current political situation in Washington, D.C. So with that being said, not only was his personal life becoming enraged, but his political beliefs were becoming enraged as well. Police in Pittsburgh served a search warrant on his house, and inside they found large quantities of anti-government information as well as sovereign citizen propaganda. There were multiple manuals in the home regarding improvised explosive devices, how to construct those devices, such. And also were found photos of federal buildings and government buildings within Indianapolis, Indiana. Also, yesterday at Eagle Creek in Indianapolis, there was a large explosion out on the lake itself. Civilian divers dove on that site and found and returned some of the same information that was found at the diver's home in Pittsburgh, Indiana. This boat is on the bottom, and it appears that it possibly has been scuttled during the same time as that this pilot was flying over airspace. Today's mission is with your dive is to go, divers from the Delaware County Sheriff's Office dive team and explosive ordnance disposal unit has been requested to dive and investigate the aircraft crash site, recover and process the crime scene, and conduct a salvage operation on both the downed aircraft as well as the sunken watercraft. Department of Natural Resources does not have the capability to do clearance operations for explosive ordnance disposal underwater, nor do they have any subsurface capabilities. This is the only unit in the state that has those capabilities. The Delaware County Sheriff's Office EOD and dive unit is to process and report back to the scene. The execution, EOD divers and sappers shall conduct a sapper mission to determine the aircraft and its contents, its location, depth, water temperature, visibility, the size, and photograph the crime scene. Secondly, on our after our SALT acronym is to determine the access into the aircraft, the boats, its contents, and a description thereof. Next is that we want to locate the aircraft, plot that, its location, which we have already done that with a red buoy. We want to locate the particular boat in question, and we want to locate all the contents and any possible debris on the bottom underneath the aircraft itself. You will determine then the techniques, what approaches to be used, what tools, any remote firing systems, rigging, booby traps, etc. To do the clearance operation on the aircraft and boat as well. Incident command, we talked about who the incident commander was. Attached to incident command will be an operations sections, planning section, logistics section, and financial and admin section. For the administration purposes for this is that the Viper team is on standby. They'll be doing a tabletop exercise, as well as Jason Rogers for EMA will be doing a tabletop exercise as we dump information to them. Since this is spanning over several different locations, that we have two branches on the operational section. Branch 1 will be the aircraft, branch 2 will be the boat. One will be, of course, here at Brookville Reservoir. The second location will be at Eagle Creek, so that'll be our branch 2. Incident command will be set up at both locations, which will establish an area command. The area command will be will be hosted here with Chief Deputy Walker, which will be expanding both at the crime scene in Pennsylvania, as well as Eagle Creek and this location as well. There'll be a public information officer, which will be in contact. That will be Roger Overby. The liaison officer will be established. There'll be an assistant area commander for over planning. There'll also be an assistant area commander over logistics. And finally, the area command situation unit leader and area command critical resources unit leader, which will be established in the midterm. Since due to the logistics of this, the FBI will be our counterparts of this, overseeing the logistical support with this. Any questions at this time? Okay. There's no questions at this time. What we'd like for the first two divers, which will be Clifford Crickmore and be Tony Johnson, we'd like for you guys to kit up and do the initial first sapper dive to go and inspect the dive site itself. Okay. Any questions? And then once you go in, photograph the scene, take all the initial measurements, etc., come back and report what you've seen, and then we'll do the follow-on dives from there, what we need to do, how we need to conduct this salvage operation. Okay? All right. That is all. Once we have arrived onto the scene after the briefing, now is that we're starting to bring assets to the actual dive location itself. Here is that one of our several Zodiacs that we have to be deployed, is that we're deploying those, as well as kitting up the divers. The divers now are preparing themselves with one
making sure all their equipment is assembled correctly and properly, making sure that there's nothing that will get hung up on underneath while they're down diving on a wreck site. There's a lot of many dangerous things that are down there that a diver can get hung up on, whether it be cables, whether it be sharp objects, anything of that, which would create a hazard for that diver, and he could possibly lose his life. So we want to make sure that all of his equipment and everything is literally secure. From there, then what we're going to do is we're going to move and place all the equipment in, get everything fired up, and then start sending divers into the water to conduct a mission.
Before you guys go, we need to get the cameras for you. Yep, air run. Hold up, Cliff. To get you documented here. Hey, Chief. Hey, Chief. We need to get their names so we document who's in the water and what times. I got a dive master sheet up there. Check. How much air do you have, bro? You get?
2,800.
And you?
Exactly 2,800.
I'll be your dive master and also safety diver. So while you guys are getting ready, I'll be kitting up for you. Time in water's 9:42. Your topside support will be Kurt over here. So if you need anything topside, Kurt will be in the boat over here for you. All right. The red buoy over there, where we've marked the aircraft. All right.
Probably can't get water temp for a little bit. They're a real slow responder.
Okay, after the establishment of incident command, the presentation of the dive brief, what we're doing now is organizing the underwater operation to locate not only the aircraft but any items that could be involved in and partake in part of a criminal investigation. What we'll have to do is actually search around where the aircraft is suspected to be in, and then once we do that, we'll have to establish where the debris field is located at. Once we identify the debris field, and make sure there's no hazards inside of the debris field, and then we'll have to actually start recovering the remnants of the aircraft from the bottom and bring it to the surface. We'll also have to locate inside of the aircraft and clear that of any type of hazards which may be on the inside of that. Then once we've accomplished that, we'll conduct this as a criminal investigation. It is a crime scene, and we'll start out with as we would do any other type of crime scene, and be looking for anything that would be involved not only in a criminal act but would also be involved in the problems of anything which may have occurred with the aircraft and or with the pilot. Once we've established all of that with the divers, the initial activity with the divers that we're doing is to actually see what's down there, where everything's located at, bring that information back to the surface, and then reorganize for a second dive.
Yes, they don't.
You guys you're burning your nitrogen right now, so we'll figure up your total time before we get ready to do our next dive. So that'll be your deep dive, is what you just did on your search. All right. So all the rest of the dives are going to be at shallow depth.
And like I said, we went into the habitat, make sure nothing fell inside it and around. And
All right. Very good. All right. So for the purpose of administrative, is that there's nothing on the bottom. Okay. So you guys did the search. You stayed with a checklist on what we decided to do. Searching the bottom. Any issues with that? The
No
nice
issues
little
with
search
the bottom.
pattern stuff. All right. That was basically going down there and searching. Now, someplace those wings have been ripped off. So we'd have to locate the wings, and then we'd have to actually salvage the wings and bring those out. So there would be
wings were off, doors were off.
okay. So there was some damage that was done to the aircraft on collision with the water. So what we'd have to do is utilize our sonar to actually find and locate those items and do the whole thing and document where they're at and then raise them. Okay. So what did you see down there?
He is supine just off the cockpit, or a body is supine just off the cockpit. We found 3 ordnance. One was a larger fin typed bomb. The other 2 were non-finned, tubular.
Okay. What we'll do, we'll come up here and we'll pull out the schematics on that and let you guys point and identify if it's a fire projectile, if it's a drop projectile, what it is, and we'll try and identify what it is and get the specifics on that. Okay. Anything else?
Not that I can think of right offhand.
No.
Okay.
Nope. Wreckage sets at 27 feet at the nose.
Okay.
So we can take the 3 projectiles out through. It would be the east door. They're just right in the doorway right there.
The larger.
The larger of the 3 looks like it's about 5 times larger than
Yes.
the pieces inside. And it's actually down in a cavity in the plane.
Yep, dead center.
Yeah, and the other
It's the
2.
Bombay door.
The other 2 are just as you enter the doorway. One is laying right there as you enter the doorway. You can see it, and then I think the other
The
just
other one
it was to
is-
the rear.
It's to the rear.
To the rear of it.
Yeah.
So
Got good pictures of them, we hope.
All right, very good. Well, we'd like to be able to, is there a way that we can download those pictures? If not, we'll get some still shots on the next dive. All right, recommendation on rigging those out.
I don't know. We could lift bag them.
Okay, we do have lift bags.
You just need a smaller lift bag for the 2.
Yes.
One lift bag I think would be more. I mean, you wouldn't need anything that big. I don't think to move those. I haven't moved them or lifted them, but if we can look them up, we can see how much you're supposed to weigh.
Yeah, that's the question, what's
Yeah.
going to take to set them off.
Right, and that's the other thing. And then the bigger one, that one's going to be a monster. Because we're going to have to get into the plane to rig that one up.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have to bring it out of the door, and then we're going to have to move it out. I see the
Okay.
bigger of the 3 being a
Yeah,
potential
the
problem.
first 2 won't be issues. The
yeah.
third one will.
Yeah, the first 2
Okay.
should come right out.
Is there a way, is that when we rig those out of the aircraft, bring them to the surface, that we can tie onto those and remotely remove those, with a rope? So we tie on the airbag, so you guys don't have to swim with them.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't see where that would be a problem because the door actually there's a bracket right outside that door that we could maybe use as a rigging stage to where we could lift it up and then maybe pull it through there, pull it through the doorway, and then just reverse it and let it come straight out. That might work. Does that make sense what I'm saying, Cliff? Are you following me?
What about if can you rig into them and then maybe add a little bit of air to your lift bags and slowly lift them up just
Oh, yeah.
a little bit at a time? Because we got a tank system set up that you can take down with you and just fill them up just a little bit at a time.
I wouldn't see where
Squirt
that'd be a
into them,
problem.
start
Don't
to
think
raise
so.
them.
Like I said, the activation's the only deal.
Yeah. We'll get a Bugs Bunny hammer and we'll tap it on the nose. and
That's
see what
right,
happens.
as you should.
Right dud on it.
Acme on the side of it?
Yeah.
I have a 50-foot hose that we can leave the tank
Coyote.
on the boat and run the airline
We'll
down.
ride the rocket.
All right. Okay,
Right,
so
rocket.
we'll leave the air tank inside the boat for boat support, and then we got a 50-foot hose in the van that we can just run down to you guys to actually fill that up.
It's a concern right now, right? Because
Absolutely.
we've got three
Yeah, I
three
wouldn't
bombs
even-
to deal with, and
yeah, I
apparently
wouldn't
we've got a
even go
device
enter
that
the
we didn't even
plane.
see on the yoke that we're
Yeah.
gonna have to deal with, and we haven't even seen it to even know what we're looking at there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because until those first three are gone, we're not going to go
Yeah.
on up into the plane.
We need to save the aircraft first, and then the body will come out last.
Right.
So that's our work there.
He looks dead.
Those are the things that actually penetrate steel.
Okay.
Got kind of like that spike or that tip there.
it's
So we're
on
not
that
dealing with the
I
heat
haven't seen
munitions
anything like
game. So it's been in the water well over an hour, so we know that we're not dealing with any fuses right now. Okay, look for any gray sensitive markings on the ordnance. Okay, so when we're down there, we just need to make sure that would actually show us that there could be some type of sensitivity to it. So right now we won't be able to approach it from the rear, so we're going to have to approach it from the waist lane from the front. So east side door, limited penetration of the east side door.
Yes.
See if we can just reach in, hook in,
Should be able to.
take the hose, fill it, boom, lift them. All right.
Now,
The one's going to be really simple.
yeah, and you're wanting to remote this out, right? So what are we going to do? Are we looking to find a neutral state of buoyancy just right at the door, and then we're hooking a line to it, and we're going to back up and then bring it through the door? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
we can do that.
Or what were you thinking?
Or we can just put a little air in it at a time, lift it, and see if we can just get enough air into it so we can upright it.
Right.
And maybe just lift it up a little bit and move it and fill it up with more air and then send it to the top.
Right.
And what we
We're
want to be able
staying
to
the hell
do,
away from it and just let
Yeah.
it go, and they recover it when it hits the top.
or we can use the rigging line from the HAL kit, hook into it, and then pull it out from there.
Okay.
All right. So that's basically our checklist to go down from here. All right. So
I am.
right now, what we've done is that we've stayed on to our SOPs for the department.
I sketched that, sketched that, sketched that.
Okay.
13, 17, and 3.
Bomb technicians from the Delaware County Sheriff's Office Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit have an extensive database of characteristics as well as explosive ordnance, which is both United States as well as globally ordnance that can be found not only in the war zones but also homemade explosives that are used by homegrown violent extremists. And bringing back this information and the data that was received by the initial scouting mission or reconnaissance operation on the first dive is that we've brought back this information and we're going through the databases to locate and confirm explicitly what type of ordinances that we're dealing with. With that, then what we'll do is that we'll go into specific render safe procedures when we go down on the second dive to actually render the ordnance safe so that it does not explode while the bomb technicians are down working on this ordnance. What we'll do is that while the divers are down here, due to the sensitive nature of the techniques and procedures used in explosive ordnance disposal, will not show this, but we will be conducting these operations while underwater, and then you'll see the items brought to the surface after they've been rendered safe by bomb technicians while we're underwater.
Yep. There's no fuses on it that won't go off, so you'll be all right.
The ordinance that we're utilizing on this particular operation has all been explosive ordnance that has been located by the Delaware County Sheriff's Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit. What we've done is they have been on live operations, which this ordinance has been recovered here in Muncie and Delaware County. We've rendered this ordinance safe, and we continue to utilize this ordinance in furtherance of our training operations. So we've utilized, as you see, that same ordinance that we recovered here locally. We're utilizing this in some of our training here in Muncie and Delaware County. Five items in the aircraft. Right now we have 3 of the 5.
Okay.
So we still need to do an IED that's in there and recover the body.
Okay.
That's where we're at now. So we need a robot, bomb suit, X-ray machine. Okay, we need a preset of pan.
I'm gonna try this camera off.
Okay, dive number 3. Okay, on dive number 3, what we're going to do is that we're going to take out hook and line with us, Stokes dive bag. We have a IED to clear out of the cockpit, and then we also have to clear the body. It's in there for any booby traps that might be on that individual, and then recover the body from inside the fuselage of the aircraft. Plan of action right now is that 3 divers will go down. Okay, for that, for the dive, TJ, maximum time at depth of 40 feet, which we're not going to be going past 30 foot. You got 77 minutes. Cliff, you got 191 minutes at 30 feet, and then myself, I'll have 205 minutes.
Is that at 30 feet also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm 179 minutes at 30 feet.
Okay. All right. So we're all good on time. So no RNT or bends issues there. All right. So once we get here, we're going to hook into the IED. So I'll bring in the line.
Okay.
Come in. Okay. You clear the IED, hook into it, and then what we'll do is that we'll pull that out through the cockpit.
So
window.
I'm going to pass it back to you. You're going to hand me in. I'm going to go in, clear.
Clear the cockpit. Once
Yep.
you clear the cockpit, you give me the green light. Then I'll pass in the hook and line to you.
Yep.
All right, you hook into the IED. We'll move that remotely. I'll pull it, okay, remotely, and then from there you'll still be in the west side door.
Yes.
Okay. Then once that's pulled out, okay, once it comes to the top, then you guys can remove the hook and line, remove it remotely, get out of the water, and then use your robot to hook onto it and drive it in the demolition area. Okay. Now, remember that's a dirty bomb potential. All right, so you want to possibly check for any type of radiation in there. So that's something for you to take a look at. All right. So now I'll come over here on the east side hatchway. Okay, Cliff, you're going to be hovering there with the air hose, Stokes, and the lift bags.
Yep.
All right. I'll come in here. TJ, you'll clear the upper torso. I'll clear the lower torso for any booby traps, IEDs, etc.
If we find a device on him, do we want to do like a hurricane sign?
get out.
Yeah, mudslide.
That's like
All right. So once from there, we'll clear out any IDs from there. All right, no issues. I'll come out, give Cliff the signal. He'll come in. I'll tell you, you pass the hose off to me. I'll recover the hose. Then once I recover the hose, then you'll go in, attach to the body. All right, and then we'll bring him out the east side door. Since it's larger, we've got a little bit more maneuverability room. We'll start putting air into the bags, start getting some buoyancy in them, bring them out. So once we got a little bit of buoyancy on the feet, so we bring him out, then we'll start putting air in the other bag, kind of like, and then we'll bring him to the surface. Once we get him to the surface, there'll all be a line already hooked onto him. Then you can pull from here, and then you guys can recover the body from there.
And we're not putting him in a bag or anything like we talked about earlier. That's not what happened.
We're going to administratively put him into a body bag. Okay? So that'll be an admin deal there. All right. So once we do that, then we'll come up here, and then we'll do the RSP. We won't have to do the RSP. What we want to do is that we want to go over to the boat. We want to clear that, clear the boat over here. We've got a boat op to do, because there's the boat that was scuttled. All right, so we'll have to go and clear that one. All right, once we clear that one, then we'll index the amphibious exercise, and we'll come up and we'll do RSP, finish out the EOD portion today. Okay? All right. Yep. So, love of God. Just be careful out there.
Captain Sheridan, what time do you want me to call the White House and order those pizzas?
tell Brock that we'll need him about 2 hours.
2 hours.
Have him airlifted in. All right.
Is it a White House asset?
Okay. Anybody got anything you want to add to this?
No.
Tom?
Kill switch. It's like a little. Yeah. Flip that up.
Diver in.
You splashed me, mate.
There's that little lever to the left of the motor sticking up.
Remember how far back we go?
There's another line right here. That's right. Yeah. Okay, I can't because I got it.
Now on dive number 3, our situation is that we have located in the cockpit of the aircraft is that we have a suspicious device or suspicious package which is inside the cockpit of the aircraft. So what we're doing, the bomb technicians, we're going inside of the cockpit and we have to remove safely that particular suspicious package. Once that is done and been recovered, that'll be the first thing that will be removed. So at that point in time is that the aircraft, all the hazards have been removed from the aircraft. From there is the final portion of the recovery for this particular dive will be the recovery and the retrieval of the pilot himself and bring the pilot out of the aircraft.
Upside down!
Once we bring the pilot out, we'll have to remove him up to the shore. Now this is a particular training dummy that's property of the Delaware County Sheriff's Office. On dry land it weighs over 200 pounds. So when this is in the water and it absorbs water, so it's going to weigh probably in excess of 260 pounds. So it's a pretty heavy object as it comes to the surface, and then when it actually gets to the shore, for shore personnel to recover and remove it. My tank here. The next thing we're going to do is the boat that went down. Because possibly there was a loud explosion on it. We need to go down and clear that. And of course lift anything that's there, secure it, and then move out. So we'll do the same operation. Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to clear the boat. Alright? So you'll clear it. You'll hold the lift bags in the hose. All right. Then once you get it in there, we'll need to lift. You'll need one bag per item for administrative purposes. Okay. All right. So you get the clear the milk basket. You'll see when you're down there what that is. Clear that. And then lift that out and make sure nothing gets lost. Okay, and then you get the second lift. Okay, and there'll be administratively that'll be a black box.
Okay.
Stand up.
So I'm doing a milk cart.
We'll just jump in there and go. Okay.
Okay.
And once we get there, you'll need to clear the black box.
I clear the black box.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we'll need to get the lift bags and the hook and line. My air is 2150.
Chief, my air on the last dive getting in was about 21, and it's about 1200 right now.
Mine's 2850.
Instead of laying on my feet, I just kind of jumped in, went a little bit sideways.
Okay.
The Delaware County Sheriff's Office dive team got its start in the early 1980s, and the bomb squad came on board in about 1990 in its inception. What we have done is that we've been able to take our bomb technicians and integrate the EOD mission to subsurface capabilities to where we can be very safe in recovery of unexploded ordnance and improvise explosive devices underwater. What you see here is that we have a great relationship with our private community here locally in Muncie and Delaware County. This particular location that we're diving at is Phillips Quarry. Phillips Quarry is owned by Tom Leard and Leard's Underwater Service, and has been strongly supported by the Ball Foundation. And this is has always been a large community location for a lot of people throughout East Central Indiana to come to Phillips Quarry since the 1950s. Phillips Quarry was once a very popular swimming location. Many of the folks here locally used to swim here in Phillips. A lot of my parents, my grandparents swam here. My father was actually a lifeguard here at Phillips. Down on the bottom of Phillips is a lot of the platforms and the walkways that were once over the water here at Phillips, where the diving platforms and where people used to run and swim off of. It's been, since it's freshwater, it's in still relatively good condition from here. And it gives a lot of ability for the underwater life to be able to attach to and to continue living here. A lot of us got interested in diving back in the day. The self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, also known as scuba, was again brought on board by Jacques Cousteau, and he had a phenomenal television series back in the 1970s, mid-late 70s, called The Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau, where a lot of people got very interested in diving and actually what's going on in the water and what's happening with life under the surface. And what we're seeing here is a freshwater site where divers are here that come and dive and come and train here. I've been diving since 1976, was trained by Tom Leard, and actually here at Phillips Quarry done my first dives here. From Phillips Quarries became a very popular diving location for not only Indiana but throughout the Midwest. We have a lot of people that come here from all over. This has really expanded. There's a lot of different obstacles that are under the water to be able to come here and dive and see. Of course, you see one of the watercraft here that has sunken, that's on the bottom of Phillips. The aircraft that you've seen earlier, we were able to get that donated to us from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. It was placed onto a truck and brought over here to Muncie, and SDP Manufacturing up in the Dunkirk area brought a specialized crane in that took the aircraft off, and then we were able to place it into the water. We actually had to sink the aircraft due to the fuselage's buoyancy, or how well it floated. We actually had to put steel inside the aircraft to make it sink, and then we're able to tie it off from the bottom, so it actually is kind of submerged in, but it doesn't lay flat on the bottom, so you can actually swim into the aircraft itself and move around. So it creates a unique diving observation post for you to be able to see. As you see on this particular one, amongst there's an underwater habitat here. There's other boats that are underneath Phillips here that you can dive on, great attractions. There's a lot of freshwater fish. There's some very large fish that are here that you can see. Again, it's privately owned, so the public cannot come here and fish. This is primarily a location for divers to come to. Now, for this is that not only sport and recreational divers come here to learn how to dive, they come here to dive just to have fun. And then the professional divers, your law enforcement and your emergency service divers come here and do specialized training at this location. You'll see here on this particular dive that we're doing now is with the scenario based that we had is that this boat was scuttled, it went down to the bottom, and there was explosive ordnance that was actually on the boat itself. The ordnance that we have here is all, again, actual ordnance that we've picked up here in Muncie and Delaware County, as well as around east central Indiana. The Delaware County Sheriff's Office Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit is part of Task Force 6, which is the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. All the equipment and training that we've received have all been funded by grant dollars, and so this training that we're partaking in is utilizing that equipment that has been purchased through grant dollars and applying it to this particular mission. As you've seen with the aircraft that went down, we were able to, on the dive itself, is that we actually had a real situation that happened where a pilot of an aircraft had went unconscious. Fighter jets were scrambled for that aircraft, and they were actually flying alongside of that aircraft with orders to shoot it down if it took any type of aggressive actions. The pilot had developed had actually went unconscious from what it appeared in the cockpit, and then the aircraft was ended up coming down, almost crashing in Delaware County. Just went on to the other side of the Delaware County line and crash landed into Randolph County, where the pilot was killed at. So we utilized that particular scenario since it was actually did happen, and what we did is that we just put a criminal element to that. We've been able to recover this particular ordinance for this mission. As you see on this particular training dive that we're doing, is that in the scenario that we're utilizing is that we're taking, which would be in our area of operation, we're utilizing Brookville Reservoir as the scenario base location where this aircraft had crashed at, and also this boat is located at. But in actuality, so we didn't have to go all the way to Brookville, is that we're doing the same mission, same operation here at a location where we dive at, where we can train to. It just makes it a whole lot smarter to do it and do it here locally. So what we're doing now is that we're recovering the ordnance from the boat, and we'll bring the ordnance to the surface to be able to have that ordnance recovered from surface bomb techs that are waiting on topside. What we're doing here now is that we're coming out from a dive from a successful mission, and the purpose and the principle of this particular dive was to actually go down onto the boat itself, locate the ordnance, clear it of any booby traps which may be on the boat or wired to the ordnance itself. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to move into now with one of our bomb technicians who is suited up. Remembers that we had a suspicious device or suspicious package which was located inside the cockpit of the aircraft. That has been recovered, and for the training, for administrative and training purposes, is that what we've done is that that particular device has been picked up and removed from the water side and administratively moved with one of our bomb robots, and moved over to a safe location where we conduct render safe procedures here.
Yeah, he's gonna do what? Okay, we were just gonna pay it out to you as you went, but that way I'll do it however you want. Okay. You want me to hold that to you so you can brace it up under your arm?
Radiac going off?
No.
Get it close to this bag.
Yeah, it went off there.
Okay.
It did go off up here.
So as we've are completing the mission here, is what we've done is that now with the tools that we have with us, is that we are concerned with any type of weapons of mass destruction issues here. Is that now what we have is we're indicating now that there's a potential of a dirty bomb from here. So we're going to safely remove this device into a location where we can do render safe procedures on it so that we can have a successful mission. And again, it's what we always enjoy having partnerships with this, is that Roger Overby, who is the producer of this particular production. Here is the explosion that Roger wanted to have happen. And then here's the explosion that Roger usually makes happen. So we had to kind of dial it down from Roger's usual devices to what we had to keep safe. Again, hope you had a blast. And in conclusion on this, the important thing is that even though this was a training scenario, everything was done safely. We were exercising a full mission profile where we were reaching out to our other partners, emergency services partners, Muncie Fire, reaching out to our local law enforcement, touching base with our EMS, with their Viper team for any decontamination issues that we may have on this, as well as emergency management and our federal partners with the FBI. So we were working on multiple things that were going on and checking the list behind the scenes that aren't on a camera shot. And in conclusion is that we felt that this was a very successful operation. As you can see, there was a lot of things that were involved in this very detailed training mission for the day. Thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed today's show.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Sheriff Show, and I look forward to seeing you at the next installment. If you have an idea or a question about the Sheriff Show, please go to our website, DelawareCountySheriff.org, and post a question or comment that you may have. This is Sheriff Mike Scroggins wishing you all well, and I'll see you next time.
We would like to thank the following underwriters for their support in producing this show. Put your business up for everyone to see. Hometown Outdoor Advertising, 765-288-9000. Bill Gaddis Chrysler, 1717 North Wheeling Avenue, the corner of Wheeling and Centennial. Dr. Janine M. Green, Royal Family Dentistry, 1804 West Royal Drive, 289-1578. McGalliard Guns and More, 800 West McGalliard, Muncie, Indiana, 288-GUNS, your one-stop gun shop. Reliable Bail Bonds, corner of Washington and North Walnut Street, Muncie, Indiana, 282-4787. Millennium Motors, 1001 East 29th Street, Muncie, Indiana, 282-2095. McDougal Family Fun Park, 2921 East Jackson, Muncie, Indiana. Go-karts, bumper boats, putt-putt, batting cages, something for everyone. 747-2893. Cardinal Laundry, 601 East Weiser Street, 744-2893. Big Daddy's Guns and More, Highway 1 south of 38 in Hagerstown, 530-8060. Northwest Towing and Recovery, Muncie location, 2900 North MLK, 288-4456. Anderson location, 1625 East 60th, 643-3333. Bob Lambert's Auto Body, 2801 North MLK, 289-0619. Taylor Sales, 2310 North MLK, Muncie, Indiana, 286-5010. Sam Pierce Chevrolet. The best Chevy deals are in the country. Located on State Road 67 between Muncie and Daleville.